Batman Arkham Knight came out in 2015, and pretty much ever since then, people have been trying to figure out what will come next of Rocksteady and Warner Brother Montreal. And, recently we figured out what the answer is to those questions after a frickin' 5 years. And the answer is a Suicide Squad game and another video game called Batman Gotham Knight. For the sake of this video, we're going to take this that dang frickin' Suicide Squad game and just toss it on over to whatever direction of the camera that even is. And we're just going to focus on Batman Gotham Knights. Focus in on the S, because if you take it out, it is the title of something else. And de-emphasis on the Batman, because he ain't in this freaking game.
I'm dead.
For those of you that are more regulars to the channel, you're probably sitting here asking yourself, Timbo, what the frick? Where have you been? What are you doing? What was that Ghost of Tsushima video, my man? Surprisingly enough, I've made more videos this past month than I have like all year. Made like 15 of them. Been working on a super secret fancy project, and I will let you guys know about that soon. But for the rest of you guys, we're just going to talk about some Batman because I want to get back into video making, YouTube video making, and yeah, this interests me. People had guessed, like, my dang Google went off. I ain't talking to you. People were guessing for a really long time, like, what this new Batman game would be, if it would be a continuation and Court of Owls and just... And it's kind of that, I mean, I guess. A lot of the information is unclear, but it seems like Gotham Knights is going to be this love child of frickin'... You take Arkham Knight, and then you take the Marvel game that's coming out that everybody's hating on right now, and combine that with frickin' Assassin's Creed Origins. As for myself, I don't have any like issues with the game per se. I don't think it looks fantastic, but I don't think it looks terrible. I think there's a lot of information that we're yet to see about the game in terms of like what it is and how it's gonna function and everything. But I gotta admit, it definitely has some things in it that I am not so sure about. What Gotham Knights is doing that is very separate seeming from the rest of the Arkham franchise, which just doesn't even have the word Arkham in it. But then it also has the word Batman in it, and Batman freaking says he's dead. So what do I know? The game allows you to play the whole thing in co-op, which is something that Batman Arkham Knight did a little bit in its side missions, and even in its main campaign with like Robin and Catwoman and Nightwing. I didn't say Nightwing twice, did I? This game is going to let you play the whole frickin' thing in co-op if you want. Otherwise, you can play single player. I did see somewhere that it is not couch co-op. It's got to be online, which I don't understand why all these games are doing that these days. Pissing me off. That's all they want to do. And for me personally, I don't have an issue with co-op necessarily. For me, I would play the game single player anyway. But I think like the bigger concern is you take the co-op element and you combine it with this other thing that they're clearly doing, which is trying to make the game like this kind of RPG. And in 2020, and in this day and age, when you take multiplayer, co-op, or whatever word you want to use, and you combine that with like leveling and RPG and gear and different things, you get this other thing called live service microtransaction game. And that is where I get concerned. It's where other people seem to be getting concerned too, which we don't know if that's the case with this game or not as of right now because so little is known about it. But it's hard to be optimistic these days. That's all I gotta say. The other bad thing that goes along with making a game like this an RPG is the fact that enemies have like numbers and levels and damage, and so when you're punching people you see a bunch of freaking numbers pop out of them, which is fine in like a first-person shooter like Destiny where like damage matters and all that, but like in a game like this it just doesn't fit as well in my opinion. The combat itself looks like Arkham, but you don't really see like the combos and the countering. It just seems like they're just hitting the hit button and just doing that until all the health of the enemy goes down, and like that's the combat system. The other problem that I see is with stealth. Assassin's Creed ran into this, and I think there's a way that they're trying to get around it, I heard, with the new one. But the problem is Assassin's Creed is primarily supposed to be, at least it was, a stealth game. When you go behind somebody and you freaking stab them, you expect them to die. And that's how it worked in all Assassin's Creed games. The problem that is created when you add like leveling to your game is that if you're a level 5 and this guy's a level 10 and you're doing that mission and you're sneaking up behind him and you're using something, well, now they no longer die and they just freaking like you're taking a little tack and sticking it in their butthole and they just squeal a little bit, they turn around and they destroy you. And in a lot of games like this, there's no actual indicator of like if your stealth takedowns and different things are even gonna work. So you're kind of just doing it blindly. I'm not saying that that's gonna be a problem in this game, but just there's something weird thematically about you have Batman and you have Batgirl and Robin and these highly trained ninja martial art people. And in previous Arkham games, they would beat up all these thugs and it would just be awesome because they're superheroes. But in this game, you completely just strip the power from them because now you're telling me that some random thug with a baseball bat can just beat the crap out of Robin because he's a level 10 and my Robin's a level 5. Come on! They did say during the whole gameplay demonstration, in like the Mr. Freeze battle, they talked about how fighting him level 5 would be different than fighting him level 15, which does sound pretty cool. But like again, when I play Batman games, the reason I would play solo is because I care about the story. And when I'm playing with friends and I got people in the headset or even on the couch next to me, it makes me not care about the story because I'm hearing them, I'm not taking it seriously. The only story games I can play with friends is something like Until Dawn or something where it's like a choice thing because that's what makes it fun when you're playing with other people. In a game like this, I like to be by myself, I like to be immersed, I like to be my Batman. I like to do that by my freaking self, okay? I don't need to play with my friends in those types of games. I'll play with friends in multiplayer and different things, like Destiny, where it has a story, but I don't really care. But I'm not as like invested, you know. I care more about the loot and the chase and my character and everything. But in a game like this, I care more about the story and then like the universe and the world. And so it's like two slightly different games trying to become the same thing. It's just like, what are they trying to do here? On the flip side, they could make the game like something like Destiny and something that's like a full-fledged RPG where the Mr. Freeze boss battle is like something that you would do once and then you would continually do as you level up. Like you beat him level 5, then you beat him level 10, then you beat him level 15, and like you kind of farm those missions to get better gear and better abilities and things like that. I don't know if that sounds fun to anybody. I don't know if that even sounds fun to me, but like there's two different approaches that they can go with it. And the sucky thing is like, I think that works better as like an RPG system. But I don't know if it fits like the Batman universe. And inversely, you know, playing co-op and just having a single player adventure type of thing in co-op sounds cool for this universe, which is, you know, I get it's what they've been doing before, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then at the same time, I can just see myself playing this solo and I just want the story experience. But then I get so bogged down by the numbers and leveling up the character and just, you know, playing one of those games that's clearly designed for you to like play with other people, even though you can play by yourself. And I don't want that out of my Batman game. I mean, quite honestly, you watch the trailer and Batman being dead, I don't think it's in the Arkham universe because like Batman is dead, which kind of happened in Arkham Knight, but then Jim Gordon is dead. It's just confusing. I think it's like an Elseworld type of thing. But regardless, I don't have a problem with the premise at all. Like I like it when you know, people take liberties with the same story, do things differently, and you know, in a certain way it is respectful that they're like, you know, this Arkham game, that Arkham franchise was its own thing, it was cool, but we're not just gonna copy paste everything that was before. We're gonna try something different, we're gonna do this co-op thing or whatever. The slippery slope with it though, unfortunately, and the premise of that story, while it is cool and while it does have potential, is that it's very easy to go down a wrong path. And so that's kind of the point and what I'm kind of saying in this video. Makes me a little nervous about a game like this because it's like, what is this? Is this gonna be like the Marvel Avenger game? Where it's just, you know, or a game where there's just a lot of microtransactions and it's just like repetitive and boring? Or is it, you know, maybe gonna be like something even more like Assassin's Creed, some of the newer ones, some of the complaints people have. Just one of those games that's like, you know, I get the RPG elements and it's fun, but like maybe it would fit better if you just made it like the old game where you had skill points and upgrades, you know? I think people try to move away from those types of games, but even in just this past year, or stretching it back a little bit, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, these are examples of games that are very traditional, open world, single player, and people love them, and they sell. And so in a certain way, it's like, I don't know which side to pick. So it's really just kind of a wait and see, I guess. It's kind of the point of this video, a wait and see. I'm interested to see like what you guys think, if you're on board with it or not. For me, I don't know if I'll buy this or not at the current time. I think I just definitely need to learn some more information about it in terms of how it's gonna work. If it's gonna be fun, and two, if it's gonna be a microtransaction, co-op, forced down your throat fest, which both those things are possibilities. I'm hoping that it's fun and good, and we all love it, because optimism. That's gonna do it for this video. Make sure to leave your thoughts and your comments and all your things down below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.